It's got its registration and insurance, and it's going to need work in order to comply with the state inspection. What I'm going to do is remove this fiberglass front piece here and put on the fiberglass piece from the 91 Grand Marquis. Back in 2000, I think maybe in 2004, I bought this car. I had no money. I had just enough money to buy this car because the other Grand Marquis had transmission problems. I think it was $625. And to get it to be drivable, I made up this patch out of Heathkit power supply panels, and I used this headlight panel from the other Grand Marquis, and this has actually got the headlights mounted on wood. And while that did kind of work after a fashion, it's not a real good repair job. I think I've come a long way in my repair understanding since then. So I'm going to try to actually do this right. We've now got part of the fiberglass front piece off of the Grand Marquis. This shows the damage that had occurred to it initially. And I had put wood in there to hold the headlights up so that I would have something to drive down the road, because I had, of course, no money back then, or hardly any. I had just enough to buy this car back then. But of course, wood is not very good for holding the headlights in place. So I'm gonna put the correct part on there. Now I've got this side. I've got the escutcheon off that goes over the headlights, and so now I'm going to get in there and try and take off this side. I need an 11mm long reach socket, because the way it fastens up here, and over here it got busted off, but you got to reach back up in there and get the nut off of a stud in order to get the fiberglass thing off. So that's what I'm going to do next. And I should be able to get the whole deal off. I guess actually first I'm going to take the headlights off of this side, then try and remove the nuts holding the fiberglass piece on. Now we're ready to lift the fiberglass piece off of the Grand Marquis. I got the 3 11mm bolts out on this side. Also, right in here are 2 8mm bolts. I go into those two things there to hold this part onto here. Looks like I may need to salvage that piece from the other Grand Marquis. I'll have to look at an intact Marquis and see what all is needed. Also, I'll need to get the nut driver and go in and take these busted up pieces out. Try and see if I can bend the sheet metal back to where it should be, so it'll line up properly with the new piece. Now I can take it. Looks like I don't even really need to take off the escutcheon that goes on there. I can just leave the headlights in it, and we'll take the hood ornament off and put it on the other one. There's also 2 bolts right here that are 11mm nuts that need to be removed. So now I can remove this entire piece. There's also a cable here that has to be detached from inside of it. I'll get both my hands on it and then we'll take a look at it. Now the fiberglass piece has been removed, and as you can see, it's all busted up, but the other one will be intact. So I can just remove the bolts right at the bottom here. There's 3 bolts down here, 3 up in here. There's going to be 2 on this piece here. And also I had to remove these modules. It's some kind of electronic module that is attached in here with 8mm bolts. It was easier to get in there with the nut driver and get it loose. used I used the ratchet to get it started, and then I was able to just get in there with the nut driver. So now I can go ahead and see if I can get this Grand Marquis one step closer to going back on the road.